boo, foo, by us, for us. Why did I say that? Because these words, this script, this scroll, this prophecy, these prophets was written by us, for us. You know what I'm saying? But there's a huge, massive awakening going on between different nationalities, and they are speaking about the true Holy Land and how the Mid East is a fraudulent, created place, and the true homeland is over here in the Americas, right? And the reason why that's happening, and you may be giving them an ear, is because Joel chapter 3, where it reads, "And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my ruach or spirit upon all flesh." See, all flesh right there. So, Yahweh, the Creator, may make it known unto them. And they're speaking like the prophets. They're speaking as if they are of the children of Yasharala, but they're not. Don't buy into that. Listen to one of your own, but because we are saying the same thing. And we are here to speak and let you know that our home is here in America. Our home is in Utah. Right? But the main importance here for me is my people need to understand you need to return to Yahweh and Yahweh alone, the creator of all things of heaven and earth. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Return to him because the remnant Yahweh would choose out of that small remnant who shall be his. So it's not the majority. It's a remnant of people, which is crazy, like a minority, a small margin, a small amount, a small clan, a small percentage. So it's important to drop idolatry, drop the idol, and turn back and seek the Creator, only the one who Masha prayed to, Dawara, David prayed to, Elijah prayed to, depended on, right? But I'm going to continue reading. Then it says, verse 2, "And also upon the servants and upon the maidservants in those days I will pour out my ruach," right? And also it was saying in the beginning that, he'll pour out his spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions, which a lot of different nationalities are also having that, but we are too. But we so caught up in the idol, right? Let's go back down to 3. "And I will show wonders in the heavens, in the sky, and on earth, blood, and fire, and pillars of smoke." So much pestilence and famine and all kind of things that you see that's happening today, right? "Then the sun shall be turned into darkness." That's why the days and nights are so crazy, right? The shiftness in the time. "And the moon into blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord," or Yahweh, "shall come." Yahweh is returning. No other deity, no other entity. It is Yahweh alone who is returning. So it is important for you to understand that and leave the idol alone, because Yahweh is going to choose from that small margin of people who sought him alone, and they ditched the idol and depended on him alone, and don't make someone equal or alike or one and the same as the Creator, making the clay the potter, right? If you can comprehend and get that, then it says right here, "And it shall come to pass that whoever shall call upon the name of" who? Yahweh, the Creator of all things. You will be saved if you call upon Yahweh, not Yahusha, not Yeshua, not Jesus, not Yeshua, not none of those names. Call upon the Creator, Yahweh. Some of y'all call him Yahuwah, some of y'all call him Yahweh, but call upon the Creator, the Father, No other deity, no other entity. There's no other but Yahweh. Right? So understand that. And it says, you shall be saved. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem or Yerushalayim, right, there shall be those who escape. So you see what's taking place in America right now, and you see what's going on and what have been going on with the so-called Negro for so long. We must escape what's taking place around us, and if anyone trying to tell you to go to Africa or go somewhere else other than here, Utah, where our land is, don't listen to them. They not a servant of Yahweh. They're a servant of the entity, the agenda, right? We not from Africa. We from here. You know what I'm saying? This is the holy lands. We from here, right? So we must escape, as Yahweh said, among the remnant, those whom Yahweh shall call. So from the remnant of people who turn to him, Yahweh will call them back to him. So if you enter the idol, I'm saying it over and over. If you enter JC, Yeshua, Yeshua, Yahawashai, Yahusha, whatever you want to call him, a so-called son of God in the New Testament or any other deity in this world, if you're not calling upon the creator of heaven and earth who gave you breath and life, then Yahweh will not call you and you're not saved by his arm because you're not part of that remnant. As we learn today where our land is, and we learn what took place with America and how it was parted and divided by these certain colonies, and they colonized the whole Americas. Now that we understand that, we can go straight to the book, straight to the Ruach, straight to the Creator, and see exactly who we are and what we are to do and why these things are happening and who our true enemy is, right? So we go to Joel chapter 4. Behold, in those days and in that time when Yahweh shall bring back the captivity of Judah, that's the southern kingdom, right? That's the southern kingdom, because we are divided right now as the kingdom of Yasharala, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, until the two branches come together and we become one, Yasharala, right? And Jerusalem is Zion. If you don't know who Jerusalem is a city, and it's also a people. Jerusalem are the leaders of Yasharala, the leaders of the people. What make up Jerusalem? The house of David, David, right? The house of Zadok, the high priest, the Levites, the priesthood. They make up Jerusalem. Also, you got the tribe of Judah, and you also have Benjamin, because they agreed to join with us forever, right? We are the strength. That is the force of Jerusalem, right? They make up Zion because they guard and protect the people. So if you understand that, you can put this thing together. Then verse 2, it says, I, Yahweh, will gather all nations, people, like everyone who took part in dividing or parting the Americas, who took part in enslaving and in conquering us, right? And all the thievery and robbing and stealing and unaliving and cruelty that they demonstrated upon us, right? All these people, and Yahweh says he will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, also known as Kidron Valley, and they will enter into judgment, and will enter into judgment with them. Yahweh will enter into judgment with them for his people, the so-called Negro. Now, when I say that, I don't mean all black folks, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk, because these lands is not only lands that belong to the nation of Yasharala, they also belong to the Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Amorites, right? The Ammonites, all of those, them are Negroid nations also with dark features also. So you must know who you are what's in your ruach, in your what you feel deeply and what you speak, what you put out there, what tell who you are. A lot of people was pushing Egyptology, thinking that they Kemets. Then that's what they are. Trust them, believe them. But don't think that they are you. Yasharala is also here. And Yasharala is just the true name for Israel. Because Israel is Isis, Ra, and El, a combination of Egyptian deities and also Canaanite deities. We not Israel. We Yasharala, upright, righteous princes and priesthoods unto Yahweh when we serve him and he is our power. That's what that name means. You know what I mean? So these different nations, these colonies, these people, the elites, these leaders will go into judgment. These YTE people will go into judgment. Those who had a hand in the cruelty against his people, Yasharala, the so-called Negro, you know, who fit the prophecy of Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings and the curses, in Leviticus chapter 26, the curses, right? And Yah is going to judge them in the valley of Jehoshaphat. But you must know where that's at. We're not from Africa. We're not from the Mideast. So that's not our land over there. The valley of Jehoshaphat is in Utah. It's in Utah. So just like in Job chapter 3, where Yahweh tells us to escape and go there, right? And, to Zion over there, right? Once we're there, our enemies is going to chase after us. Once we get it through our head that we got to return to Yahweh, and Yahweh restores our heritage back to us, and we take over our lands, they're going to come after us, and Yahweh will judge them there, purge them there, all nations, all of those who had a hand in the cruelty and their doings and wrong against the so-called Negro, us, Yasharala, right? Then it says, for my heritage, Yasharala, whom they, the Amalekites, have scattered among the nations and have divided my land. You see that? You now know who was responsible for the dividance of the Americas. Amalek, it was always his plan because it's the vision. You must understand the vision in Genesis when Jacob got the blessing, right? The baraka. And the original Esau got his, that he would live by his sword. And then one day, right, he would knock that chain off his neck, right? And then that shackle will go upon the so-called Negro. It will go upon his neck and he will rule over us for a time. And that's what took place. So this is why they have dominion today, right? So since they had dominion, they created a fake Israel. And they produced this colonization, right, upon us in these Americas to rule. You see what they did in the entertainment field. All spectrums of it, all aspects, all factions. You see how cruel they are. The cloning, right? The exploitations that they do. You must understand they did this for gain because they only have a certain amount of time of dominion. And who is responsible for that? The backbone of that that takeover, this plot, is the Amalekite Edomite. I need you guys to listen good because we enter into a time to where information is going to get knocked off the internet and you won't have no one to speak to. You have to learn on your own. And if you're not right where you're at, you see it's only a selective few who is the remnant. You may miss out. Now, this is where it gets kind of deep and you have to involve and add things up, discern with great discernment and put it together, and hopefully you listen. use your ears, you know, and don't judge, but only seek to know the truth and the doings of these people and know the Creator and know the message that He is sending out for His people. Now, if you watch the video with me speaking about how the Americas was parted and divided and how the book of Joel chapter 4 talks about that, right? How they parted and divided his land and who was the backbone to that plot was the Amalekite Edomites, right? And you would see the joint unions, the different colonies, and also the other nations, and also skin folks who look like us also had a part in that. And you know that throughout history that it was dark-skinned people also selling dark-skinned people unto the colonizers. And you may thought that was your people, but it's not your people because Yasharala, the so-called Negro, is not Egyptian. It's not Moabitic, it's not a Moabite, it's not an Ammonite, not a Hamite, not a Canaanite, not none of them ites, right? So when you go into Psalm chapter 83, Yahya makes it very clear on things that taking place and how this whole thing was organized and put together, you know, from way back then to now, and them different nations and different people, and also these modern colonies that had a hand in this with the backbone of this plot, the Amalekite Edomite. So we read Psalms 83, verse 1 through 8. O Yahweh, do not be silent. Do not be deaf. Do not be quiet, O Yahweh. Don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that your arrogant enemies are rising up? And you see who's rising up. And you see how they risen up and came to power and how they rule today. You know who's ruling today. These elites, you know who they are. You know who gave power to the YTE people, fooled them as well. Right? We know who they are. And you know how they are shadow banning us. So use your ears when I'm trying to reach people. Right? Then it says, they are your arrogant enemies are rising up. They devise crafty schemes against your people. Haven't we witnessed this? All the things that they have done, right? They created a massive numbers of people to dislike the so-called Negro for nothing. And they schematically did that. Right? And they did so much torture based upon the how we're perceived, and it's okay because we're looked at as less than an animal, right? Less than a dog. And it's because of what they put in the heads of other nations. But they were very crafty about it, right? So then it says, devise crafty schemes against your people. They conspire against your precious ones, Yasharala, the so-called Negro, right? Then it says, come, they say, let us wipe out Israel or Yasharala, the Negro, as a nation. We will destroy the very memory of its existence. So you see right here that they destroy who we are because we call African Americans. We call a whole bunch of other things. We blended in and mixed in with the different dark skinned people that look like us, so that some people think, a lot of us think we think we Hamites, we think we Canaanites, we think we Moabites, we think we Egyptians, we think we a lot of things, right? we think we think our homeland is Africa. It is, and this is what they did. They wiped out the memory and the existence of our power, our God, Yahweh of hosts, the creator of all things. We don't remember him or his name. We don't remember who we are, and we don't remember where our homeland is, because we don't even understand that we've been prisoners of war and also prisoners in our own homeland based on the plot of the Amalekite Edomite. Right? We don't even understand that. So we see the very memory that's been taken away from us, wiped out completely. Then it says, yes, this was their unanimous decision. And it's going to speak about who all was involved in this. they signed treaty as allies against you, and it's these who? Edomites, Ishmaelites, Moabites, Hagarites, Balalites, I think, Ammonites, Amalekites. So not just Edomites, but also the Amalekites. See them, the main ones. See, all Edomites are the Amalekites. The Amalekites are the chief, right? They are the chief ones. They are the head, the Mount Seir, those who have dominion, the leaders, the elites, and the Edomites who are up under them are just, you know, their people. Then it goes, and people from Philistia, Tyre, Assyria has joined them too, and is allied with the descendants of Lot, like in a little right. So the descendants of Lot are the Moabites and the Ammonites, and we're learning. If you see what's going on nowadays, especially on TikTok, we're learning that the Moors or Mers, they are a conjunction of being the original Canaanites, the original Moabites, the original Ammonites, and also the original Egyptians, because they're confused too. If you know about Isaiah chapter 19, you already see what Yahweh is getting ready to do to the Egyptians. So we're going to see exactly who they are, but they're mixed in too. Because America is not just the Holy Land, it's the ancient ruins of all ancient lands that's here. So they all had a hand in this, and they all been bought and paid for. They all been schemed. They all been scammed. Land's been stolen, right? Because the Amalekite Edomite had one plot, and that was for gain of all things, to have dominion, to rule for such a little time. I call it the Nino Brown effect. They're ruling until they can't rule no more, and when they go down, they bring in all those who align themselves with them down with them. You ever seen New Jack City? When Nino say, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody down with me, right? Nino Brown effect. So if you understand this, then you can understand how the Americas was divided and parted, and how people got their lots, no pun intended, how they got their share, how their dominance took place, and how these colonies was able to come together and join forces, and how these different nations was able to come together and join forces, and how they got scammed and schemed out of their own allegiance, or they're owed something, but the greedy Amalekite Edomite pretty much took it all and gave them the scraps. Peace shall return to Yahweh alone, the creator of all things of heaven and earth. Peace. Okay, now we coming upon the end of this series of Bufu by us, for us. You know what I'm saying? Because these scrolls, this word was written by us, it is for us. The so-called Negro who is true Yasharala, right? So, Utah, the Holy Land, and the Valley of Jehoshaphat, here's a little, you know, map where you kind of look down upon and search and seek out where is the Valley of Jehoshaphat is at, because this is where these great nations and these Amalekites and these different colonies who had a hand in destroying the nation of Yasharala and all people and all indigenous people of these ancient ruins, right? This is where they're going to be judged at. And like I said before, about how Yahweh has poured his Ruach upon all flesh. So this is somebody else who, you know, is seeking things out too as well. And her name is Seer of the Times. Now, only prophet, Seer means prophet, only prophet is from Yahweh, and you have to be of Yasharala. You're no prophet, you're no prophetess if you're not Yasharala, right? Because Yahweh does nothing, without consulting his prophets first. But but anyway, I just want to say, like I said, that's why I'm making this booth for no knock, no diss, but it's only straight up. This is for us, and our people got to learn to hear it from us, receive it from us, so we can move as a unit, you know? So I just want to push the importance of returning to Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, who gave you life, who gave you breath. Return unto him so you can be part of that remnant. But all nations of people can return to Yahweh and serve him. But we, the so-called Negro, is his inheritance, his heritage. So we are his covenant people, obligated to keep his laws, teach his ways, so all people can see the light and we the lamp and show the grace and the glory and the magnificence of Yahweh, and to magnify his name to the highest of heights. I magnify and exalt only the name of Yahweh and only the creator of heaven and earth. That's it. No deity, no entity, no king, no president, no nothing. Only Yahweh of hosts. Right? I serve no one but Yahweh of hosts. No Jesus, no Yahusha, no Yahushua, no spiritism, no spirituality, nothing. Only Yahweh of hosts. That's it, the creator. For he has made things known unto me, spoke unto me, showed me things that continue to come to pass, so no one can alter or unwaver me from seeking and serving and listening to the Creator, Yahweh alone. And that name is powerful among any other names that they try to put forth. Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh, whatever. Yahweh, demolish them all. Don't play with that name because he will respond quickly. But so this is something to look into here in Utah and other places. I was praying and seeking, came across a few videos that made me want to ask the question because I'm not too good I'm not too proud to ask, like, where is this location? I pray and ask you how he'll give me the sign or he'll tell me directly. If you choose not to, if you want me to be humble about it and hear someone else, I'm going to do that, whatever his will is. So, I'm getting closer and closer to finding this valley of Jehoshaphat because it's not over there in the Mideast. It's not over there in that fake Yasharala, that fake Israel. It's in Utah. Right? City of David's in Utah. Zion is in Utah. Jerusalem, Jerusalem is in Utah. All the inherited lots that's going to be divvied out until the 12 tribes of Yasharala is in Utah. The kingdom that's going to rise up, spearheaded by Yahya, of course, and his under now I ain't gonna say under boss, and his uh, anointed covenant servant, descended from the line of David, shall spring up also with the anointed line of Zadok, the high priest of Levites, and the priesthood will spring up and reign and have their kingdom in Utah, where our lands are. Yeah, peace, y'all. Before I get out of here, I just want to say, like Hosea chapter 3 instructs, seek Yahweh first. Then you seek Yahweh, he's going to restore us and deliver us from our enemies and then place us in our land. Then in our land, Yahweh is going to make known unto you who he anointed and who is your king or who is your prince who you will serve as the descendant of David in the land, because he anointed him among his captivity, and the high priest of the line of Zadok. They're both the two messiahs, Mashiachs, right? They are in the captivities. And we're speaking, some may listen, but the people won't know for sure until we get into the land for Yahweh. Then we'll make it known, because he got to restore the people and then set up his kingdom, then set up the dominion, who's going to govern his kingdom. So who would be the seed of David, the seed of Zadok, and who would be the priesthood, and how this third and last temple will be established. Now, seer of the times, I'm going to do a separate video on this, talks about how there's no third temple. This is why, if you not No, we're talking about there's no third temple that's going to be recreated. Like, this is why if you not Yasharala, shut up, sit down somewhere. Shouldn't be talking, speaking, and teaching because you misguiding, confusing the people. That third and last final temple happens when Yahweh restores his people, sets up the kingdom of David, sets up the priesthood and the line of Zadok as high priest, and the people is restored back and delivered back to their land. Then Yahweh is going to create his third and last temple that's going to flow throughout that land and throughout the whole earth, and it's going to heal the land and heal the whole earth and heal us as well. Our bodies cleanses us because what flows from the temple? The healing waters. And you see what they have done into our bodies, into the land. They have demoted it, polluted it, poisoned it. They gave you guys the jabby, right? The jabberwocker, right? You've been vacationized, right? That's what I call it. You've been vacation, right? Your body need cleansing. These healing waters clear. These healing waters clean all diseases, anything that may be wrong with you. This is why this third and last final temple is very important as well. It's not just the embodied. It's not just the temple being built and Yahweh can sit there as the embodiment of all things, right? And we can go into him and pray, and it'll be like a place where you know Yahweh is there, but it also does a great wonder to all things, and especially play a main part in healing the world and its people.